inside, Roselli on the outside. Roselli takes the St James's Palace.
And it's Auguste Rodin who wins the Prince of Wales Stakes. The old rivals, they race up towards the line, and Kyprios will regain the Gold Cup.
It's Porta Fortuna getting the better of Opera Singer on the run towards the line, and Porta Fortuna has won the Coronation Stakes.
Cardin finishing off best again, as he did last year. Cardin getting up from Swingalong, and the 8-year-old Cardiff has won the Jubilee 2 years running.
Welcome to day 2 of Royal Ascot 2025. Yesterday had everything you could have wanted. The stories on the track, the brilliant performance from Field of Gold in the St James's Palace. Michelle, the feature today is the Prince of Wales Stakes, and Los Angeles will be looking to follow in the footsteps of the same team's Auguste Rodin, who won the race 12 months ago.
Now, those are words that are near and dear to my California heart. Auguste Rodin, a very popular horse in Southern California, and of course Los Angeles, our biggest city. I feel like this horse is very Gandalf-esque to me. He's not fancy, but when those horses come to him, he says, "You shall not pass," right? He stands there and just, it's fortitude to not let anybody get by.
That is Los Angeles to a T. If he's in front, he is now impossible to get past. That's the feature race today. This setting, incidentally, we've come to the Beaverbrook Balloons. Beaverbrook have brought their famous balloons for the first time to Royal Ascot. What a place to watch the racing.
I mean, I could not think of somewhere better. To me, this is typical Ascot, always evolving, an upper level dining experience. They have this beautiful picnic set up, and I have not seen a better view on the racetrack than the one you have right now. Yeah. I'm a little behind, but
looking down the straight, it's perfect, and there'll be lots of people in here dressed in all their finery throughout the day, looking forward to all 7 races, where the feature is the Group 1 Prince of Wales Stakes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Everyone out in all their finery again. Day 2, outfits 2. That's the order of the day, and more brilliant racing on the way on day 2 at Royal Ascot. Michelle, you alongside. We have the feature, the Prince of Wales Stakes, the Group 1 over 2,000 metres. That is race number 4. A couple of Group 2s prior to that, the Queen's Vase, the Duke of Cambridge, the Queen Mary. We bookend the card with Juveniles, Queen Mary and the Windsor Castle, and US interest in there, Michelle.
That's what I'm excited for today, Tom, to get to see the Queen Mary Stakes. We have Lena Lou representing South Florida. She had a win-in-your-in race over at Gulfstream Park, and I'm excited to see if she can make her career perfect 3 for 3.
And we have the Royal Hunt Cup as well, and the Kensington Palace Stakes, 2 tricky handicaps, both over the straight mile there. Royal Hunt Cup, Kensington Palace Stakes. We've got the winners for you there, so don't worry. They're simple. Non-runners, so these aren't lining up. America, Eternal Solace in the Queen Mary. There's no Certain Lad in race number 4. Queen of Atlantis, race 6. Kansas, race 7. And Ryan Moore is not on Kansas anymore. Thank you very much. But lines up on First Approach instead of Wayne Lord. So that's all the details. You're up to speed ahead of day 2. We loved day 1 yesterday, didn't we? And we're hoping for more of the same. And once again, we've been blessed by glorious sunshine. So people will be happy that they didn't have to worry about coats or anything like that. It's going to be warm, but that's what you want at Royal Ascot. It's June.
Yeah, I certainly do. And it's what we come to expect. I feel like the last couple of years especially, it's been very warm, but women get to come out in their finery. The hats are a great option, though, when you have a full hat now in the sun.
Yeah, and we need to meet another member of our team. That is Ali Vance. She'll be providing us looks at the horses, some interviews with connections, pre and post race, and a little report of each and every race. Back for day 2, Ali Vance, how are you?
Very good. Lovely to be here. Thank you very much, Tom and Michelle. Now I'm in the parade ring. This is the Hallowed Winners Circle, and this is the place that all owners, trainers, jockeys, anyone connected with this sport wants to be in here this week, and it's a hard place to get to.
Let's have a look at the big race of the day. That is the Prince of Wales's Stakes, and we're going to have a look at some key bits of form coming in there. The obvious one is Anmart chasing home Los Angeles. This is and I love the Gandalf reference of thou shalt not pass, but that is Los Angeles to a T. He's so tough, he's so hardy. I think the expectation is that Anmart is going to take a step forward for the reappearance. Los Angeles obviously having a second start of the season, but look at Jim Crowley looming up on the bridle on the outside, Michelle. Ryan Moore, Los Angeles in the drive position on board the horse, and it looks as like Anmart's going to go and pick him up.
It does, but look at the ears on Los Angeles. Like the whole "you shall not pass." It's because when he gets out in front there, he doesn't even pin his ears yet, and he's still getting himself out in front. He's pushing, but he's not to the bottom of himself yet. So for me, I like that. When you can continuously outgame and outgut another horse and you're not at the bottom, there's upside still. So I think Los Angeles is going to be very tough.
Chief French Raider is, of course, Map of Stars. We can have a look at that horse in action. He's got some really good form coming into this. I suppose he's a bit of an unknown quantity against horses like this. When he was beaten by Sozi a few starts back, that was a horse rated 119 now. 123 are the top ones rated here. But this was the pre-hardcore. This was a pretty facile success.
Yeah, this is a nice and easy win, and I think one of the keys might be going with him, and he really liked to hear his feet rattle this day. You know, last time out also he had a little bit more distance. Maybe that wasn't a benefit to him, and he will prefer the turn back today.
Who do you like?
Well, I like Los Angeles. I'm not a dummy, but I also have a little bit of a love affair with Factor Cheval. Seeing him in Saudi this year, I really thought he was going to step up with a really solid dirt effort. He did not, but I still think that there's upside to him, and we're not finding the best of him yet. I love the fact that they're bringing Flavien Prat in to ride.
I'm going to give a shout to Ombudsman, who is a horse who, I think drawn one, his mind will be made up that he's going to have to probably go forward here and be handy on the horse, or at least not get too far back. But he's a horse with a load of upside who should improve for that first start of the season, and that I think at Sandown was a good level of form as well. So I'm pretty hopeful that that horse, Ombudsman, can take a big step forward for the reappearance run.
What about the filly?
Say again?
What about the filly?
Look, yeah, she's got. I'm not sure she's quite at the level of the rest. You?
No, but I mean, anytime you're going to end up in a race like this, I feel like you have to give her a look.
Yeah, see the
bold
step.
step.
She's been supplemented, hasn't she?
10%. So what is that? It's 10% of the purse, right, to supplement here?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, you don't do that thinking, we're gonna have a nice day at ASCOT and watch our horse run last.
Yeah, but Ammo Racing just bought a horse off the owner for £2 million, so he can supplement. So there we are.
Let's see here. Stars. Morning.
Morning.
I could eat a horse.
August Rodin won the race last year, and I remember turning to Michelle and saying, when Ryan Moore is in front about a furlong and a half from home, you don't see many going by him, and that was the case last year with August Rodin, and we're half expecting it to be similar again this year with Los Angeles. For what it's worth, I think A+ for your pace map, Jane.
It doesn't
Well
matter.
done.
Don't grade it before the race happens.
No, I think you're about spot on.
Well, you have to say a grade before, because then when it happens, you have to give a second grade. So
Okay.
you have to compare.
For the ladies and gentlemen at home, I don't know why I'm the student and you're the professors. I'm going to ask Michelle.
No, sorry.
No, this is all you.
That's my beginning. That's the first 2, 3, 4. What's the last 2, 3?
The last 2, 3 is
Early on in the race.
I've just given you the
final of the
half
stretch,
of the
right?
race, so you
Los
give me the
Angeles
last.
is in front. Factor Cheval is coming on the outside, trying to make up some ground there. Continuous has gone out the back. Map of Stars and Ombudsman are a little bit wide, trying to stay away from Los Angeles, but he's battling one horse next to him.
Does Ryan Moore come off the rail to make sure he's got company?
That's a really interesting point. I think he might want to, because if he's confident nothing's going to get up his inner, and I think this horse, you're quite right, will be ridden nice and cold, and Jim will want to be producing him at the right time. The thing is, I think he's a harder ride for Jim in some ways to get it spot on than it is for Ryan to get it spot on Los Angeles.
Absolutely, he's a bit of an all-assy. Continuous is likely to be your pace angle. Michel likes the next horse, Factor Cheval from France. Jérôme Renier up to 10 furlongs for the first time. Some very classy form abroad at a mile.
I like Factor Cheval. Los Angeles is going to be your favorite in here, very well backed. The only blip since when the Irish Derby, right, was the Champion Stakes in October, but he's just looked very good.
Yeah, he's looked a slightly different horse this season over 10, I think. Maybe he's got more speed we give him credit for. Map of Star, you were positive about this horse, some good form with Sosie.
I like him, he's got a good potent turn of foot. Ombudsman was really well placed last year to win 4 on the bounce.
Don't love stall 1.
But
I think he'll take a big old step forward from the Almacam race.
Whether he's a Group 1 horse, we'll find out today. Royal Champion is a 28-1 shot, and he is that for good reason. He's running the Gordon Richards. He'd really need to step up on that. That's the filly that I like.
I can't see it. Go on.
4-1.
Let's see the fire.
It's full of intrigue, revolving around Los Angeles. He's won an Irish Derby, third in an Epsom Derby, third in an Arc. He's got tiger-like qualities, but he's just not flashy, and he is yet to endear himself to the public. But today could be his day to really, really shine and tell us how good he is. He's favourite for the Prince of Wales at 7-4, 4-1 Seed of Fire, the filly for Andrew Balding and Matt, 5-1, just beaten in the Tattersalls Gold Cup at the Curragh. Ombudsman 5-1. Map of Stars is so far easy to back in the last half hour, from 4-1 out to 6-1, and it's a pony. Factor Cheval and Royal Champion, and the pacemaker Continuous is at 101. Will the money come for Los Angeles? The professionals haven't got in yet.
Well, there is the pacemaker Continuous, a one-time St. Ledger winner, but he's a big prize here because all the attention is on his stablemate Los Angeles, and we often talk about him as being a big individual, and look at his girth space. So where the saddle goes, you've got the stripy girth around his middle, and he would have to wear a much bigger girth than most other horses here because he's got so much space there, such a deep chest, got a lovely shoulder on him, big hind quarter, and he's that really steely black look. He almost looks a little bit mean, but he's not, because he's a very, very good racehorse. He's got up to 1.5 miles in the past, but it is 1.25 miles here today. And actually, last time when he won at the Curragh, it was 1.25 miles and half a furlong. It's actually a little bit short of 1.25 miles here today, and he needed the trip there, but could he be outspeeded by someone else here, the likes of Anmount? We want to have a look at him. Number 7 is Ombudsman. Now, this horse was undefeated until last run, where he was beaten in the Brigadier Gerard, and he's taking another step up in grade here.
Well, a fair few connections getting all ready for this year's Prince of Wales Stakes. You'll just see John Gosden giving instructions along with Thady to William Buick. I don't want to disturb the chat. I'll see if I can grab a quick word with Thady if I can.
Wouldn't do a bad job.
Sorry, can I just jump in here, Thady? Is that okay?
Yeah,
just a quick word about Ombudsman. Now, I thought he ran a terrific race at Sandown behind Al Mackham. How confident that he's going to step forward significantly to this level today?
Yeah, you know, he'd done sort of the minimum. Used the prep run for today. The ground was on the dead side, you know, slightly slow, pretty dead. And of course, the winner's a very good horse, you know, and he you know, he had a good time in front. Retained the challenge, just a little tired late on, but he's taken a big step forward for that.
Wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. The Queen making her way from the reading room. You can see the bright green, that stunning colour from the reading room, under the tunnel to the paddock, followed by the Greencoats and led by Sir Francis Brooke, the King's representative here at ASCOT and chairman, as we go back to Francesca.
Now, here is the only filly in the field at See the Fire. She was supplemented, like you've heard, after that absolute rout at York, where she won by 12 lengths. That was a Group 2 win, so she's stepping up in grade here today. But has she improved out of sight? That's the question. I think the team have always really liked her. They've campaigned her in some good races, and now they've decided to take on the colts here at Group 1 level. She's lovely looking. She's very relaxed. Look at her. Not a mark of sweat on her. She's so well bred, this daughter of See the Stars and out of Arabian Queen. She looks great. Number 8 is Royal Champion. He probably needs to improve a little bit on what he's done, but he was fourth in the Gordon Richards, only half a length behind Al McCam. He actually went for a stint in Australia with the Freedmans, and now he is back in this country, and he is with the Carl Burke stable. And I just headed out is Map of Stars, which is a shame because I quite wanted to have a look at him. He's the French raider, and Matt. We can just try and see if I can get my cameraman back, and we will try and have a look at Anmat. Yep, there he is. Here we are. Here's Anmat. He's a bit of a miracle, this horse. He's a 7-year-old now. He had an injury that meant he had to stand in his stable for the best part of a year. It was a really tricky little fracture that meant they couldn't operate, and it's really something that he is back racing and has been able to win at the top level. He won the Champion Stakes here at ASCOT last year at 40-1. Now, what about this behaviour? He is getting himself quite worked up. He's jig-jogging, he's sweating, he's throwing his head around, and I feel like Connections would prefer had we had a bit more rain and were the conditions a bit on the easier side, because Good to Firm is probably about as firm as he would like it. He's out of 16 races, only once has he finished out of the first 3, so he is something of a star, but he's getting very warm.
Well, alongside me is Ken Pitterson. Just hearing about Anmat maybe just playing up a little bit. Ken, what's your view of the paddock horses?
No, that's him. That's his character. If he didn't do that, I'd be concerned. He gets a little bit warm, a bit on his toes. He's come on a lot since the run in Ireland. He's a lot fitter now and looks a bit more clued up to know what's going to happen. Los Angeles looks great. I mean, he's just a really great, imposing, lovely looking type. I thought he looked well, and See the Fire, I thought she looked nice and cool and looked really well, but I'm going to go with Anmat. I just think he's come on a ton for the first run, and I think this could be his day.
Ken, thank you.
Thank you.
So here's the parade in front of the crowd, continuous at the front of it. Will he be the pacemaker, or might Ballydoyle have an alternative plan? We shall see. Led up by Anatoly there, leading the parade with a stablemate behind him in the Vesterberg colours. That's Los Angeles. Ryan Moore, who's won this race 3 times, for Aidan O'Brien, who's won 5 Prince of Waleses. Then comes the Godolphin Blue of Ombudsman, who was second in the Brigadier Gerard. William Buick won this for the Gosdens on the Fugue 11 years ago. The red cap of Map of Stars for Francis Graffard, who's had 2 Royal Ascot winners with Watch Me and Calandigan. Will France get on the board here? Antoine Coutier on the right there in the sunglasses will soon let go, and Map of Stars will head to the start. How do you see it, Ruby?
I think we watched Ryan Moore and Jan Bruegel in the Coronation Cup suck Calandigan and Mikel Barcelona into a battle, and he's going to want to try and do the same again this afternoon on Los Angeles. This is him in the Tattersall's Gold Cup, and Matt was behind him. Look at the difference in body language though. Ryan Moore is down and he's pushing Los Angeles to the front, heading to the 2-pole, and Jim Crowley's travelling much better on Anmat on the outside. Now the grey horse White Birch was a little unlucky on this occasion, but as they get down towards the furlong pole, Jim Crowley eventually gets down into the saddle, asks Anmat to go, and he joins Los Angeles as they pass the furlong, and he gets in front of him, gets a head up, maybe a short head to a head in front, and then Los Angeles starts to rally. Now you could argue Anmat maybe got a little tired, but Los Angeles definitely rallied, and the closer he gets to the line, the further he's going to win. And as soon as Ryan Moore eased off, he pricked his ears. Now Jim will try and come probably a bit wider, definitely a little bit later, not too much later, but I don't know if they get by this fella. I think there's loads left in the tank.
Enjoyed riding horses like this, Ruby, who loved getting in a battle.
But the thing is how do you suck the opposition into the battle with you? They know your horse battles, so they're not going to want to help you. You've got to somehow suck them to come to you.
There was See the Fire, who adds real lustre to the race. The Middleton winner, that was a rout. She's the 22nd filly to run in the race. Royal Champions in the Sheikh Mohammed Obeid colours. And then Anmart's just getting warm, just on his toes. The 2-time Group 1 winner, won the Champion Stakes here at 40-1 on Champions Day, trying to do what Racti did, a double in 2003-2004. The bright pink colours of Gary Barber and the Team Valor team, Factor Cheval, the Globetrotter, who's been second in a QE2 here. And remember that strange ride he got here last year. Flavien Prat over from the US these days. Jérôme Renier looking for a first winner in this country. Let's get the latest betting with Brian.
7-4 has gone, so too is the 13-8. Some bookmakers only offering you 11-8, but I do see 6-4 Los Angeles now very strong. So too is Sea to Fire, varying between 7-2 and 4-1, and very weak. Look at this map of stars, 4-1 this morning, now 9-1.
That's got to be a real worry for Map of Stars fans. You worried about Anmart at all?
Not really. He does get a little bit on his toes beforehand normally, and actually once Jim gets on board he seems to relax a bit better. He was cantering down nicely to the start. It'll be interesting to see what Luke thinks when Anmart does arrive down behind the stalls, but I'm not too worried about it. I'd say I'd be more concerned that the ground could just be quick enough for him. He's handled it before, but maybe his preference would be a little bit more juice.
This is going to be crucial, Luke, handling the heat and all the razzmatazz too.
Yeah, I mean, where we are down here, there's no wind at all, so you can forgive a horse for getting very, very warm. Los Angeles might have got warm, but he's as cool as a cucumber in his demeanour. The only one continues who's the likely pacemaker here. Obviously, his career's taken a real downward turn. He's just jibbing and doesn't really want to go forward. I'm just looking as I come down Map of Stars there. I know Brian said he was easy to back in the market, but I can only say what I see here. I think he looks absolutely magnificent. Here's Anmat just come down. Again, he looks as fit as a flea. Of course, he's going to be for a Group 1, but he's my sort of horse, Anmat. He's not too big, he's compact, he's beautifully put together, and obviously there's not been much between he and Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is an absolute beast. He's a giant of a horse. He dwarfs the others.
Royal Champion's a looker too, as we saw. Here is the giant laid back Los Angeles. When we talk tactics here, Jason, is it almost too simple to expect continuous? Amazing to think a St. Leger winner is a pacemaker these days. Almost too simple to think he'll go forward, try and set it up for Los Angeles. They might have another trick up their sleeve.
Yeah, well, no, I think continuous will go, but he's certainly thinking about it a bit. He's had a couple of tough races, and he doesn't look entirely happy, it has to be said. Royal Champion's got a bit of pace early.
Yeah, he does. It's interesting about the drift on Map of Stars. I wonder what's behind it. We can get some more clues from the betting room with Brian.
Map of Stars is very weak, Cheska. Los Angeles in the ring is strong, but yet some bookmakers are saying that it's a winner in their book. The filly for money is Sea to Fire at 9-2, 4-1, and one bet at $4,000 at 4-1. Sea to Fire. The Balding filly is the one that a couple of the Shrudies believe might just collect.
Sea to Fire. I mean, that was so impressive last time. I know it's a big step up. She could go well though, couldn't she?
Yeah, I mean, it's a totally different depth to this race today, so she is going to have to put up another career best performance, but it was impressive the way she did win the Middleton. I mean, it was by 12 lengths. You can't help but be impressed by it. She will be one that will try and avoid that battle with Los Angeles as well. She's likely to be ridden with a bit of patience, has a bit of a turn of foot, and I imagine Asheen will be trying to challenge as late as possible. But it's hard. If Los Angeles is going forward and he's so tough, it almost drags you into that battle.
Just heard Luke saying that Asheen's gone over there and basically asked for a stalls handler to come and help him because she's just backed off a little.
Okay. Well, Los Angeles is looking a little bit reluctant as well, but tempo-wise, I imagine there'll be a good speed on. Continuous will go forward. Los Angeles wants to make it a test of stamina at this distance, which is, 108 metres shorter than when he won in Ireland last time out. Map of Stars, I know he's been drifting, but he has a lot of pace, this horse from France, where they tend to just sit and sprint home. I love the way he pins his ears back and really rallies late. Can he use that speed? Do we be more concerned about the drift? Ombudsman, do we dare leave him out of calculations? He's stepping up in grade, but he only met with defeat for the first time last time out, didn't he? Yeah. Group 3 level. This is Group 1.
Yeah, but Al Makam, he's going to be shooting much higher than that. Could end up being very, very strong form for Ombudsman. And Factor Cheval there at 25-1 is a ridiculous price for a horse. Now there's just the 8 runners though. He looks a big each-way price.
I was surprised. I can't believe he's such a big price. He's top class at a mile. He's probably ready for this step up in trip now, and he was arguably unlucky in Maidan when we last saw him. He goes well at ASCOT too.
Well, American Affair booked a place at the Breeders' Cup yesterday, winning the big sprint. Jim Goldie saying they'll head to America. Here's a chance for one of these to book a trip to the Breeders' Cup too. This is the Prince of Wales' Stakes, our feature on day 2 in the company of Richard Hoyles.
Globetrotting Factor Cheval is the last one in for an international lineup for the Prince of Wales' Stakes. 10 furlongs. Final hand of 8 keeps the scene, and the 8 runners leave the starting stalls. Continuous is driven along early on. Anmart is steadied and will cross behind the field. Los Angeles is also pushed into a forward position. Royal Champion splits that pair. Factor Cheval and See the Fire. Anmart settles in 6th place, crossing over with Ombudsman. And early on, Map of Stars, just lacking a little bit of early pace and drops towards the rear of the field. Continuous it is who has the lead by a length from Los Angeles in 2nd, length and a half to Royal Champion, who is in 3rd. Factor Cheval is in 4th place with See the Fire racing in 5th. Anmart in the blue jacket just ahead of the last 2, who are Ombudsman, and last of all is Map of Stars. So Continuous leading stable companion Los Angeles, and is going to make this a true test. Los Angeles sitting in 2nd, Royal Champion 3rd. They begin to string out. Factor Cheval is 2 lengths further back. See the Fire with Anmart just looking to creep a little bit closer. Behind these Map of Stars and Ombudsman, as Continuous continues to be the hare as they make their way past halfway. Los Angeles in 2nd. In 3rd is Royal Champion. Factor Cheval, See the Fire, Anmart just one off the rail, no cover. And then behind these we have Ombudsman and Map of Stars. So Continuous continuing to lead, but now Los Angeles is beginning to move off the shoulder of the leader and will shortly be just about alongside. Factor Cheval improving on the outside of Royal Champion. See the Fire tries to get a bit closer. Anmart is back in 6th place. Then behind these is Ombudsman. So turning in, Los Angeles on the outside of Continuous. They're bunching behind. Factor Cheval, See the Fire. Anmart trying to creep closer. Then Royal Champion. Los Angeles has the lead, but Factor Cheval on the outside. Anmart, See the Fire stoking the coals on the inside. Is Oisin Murphy. The gap is there. It's Factor Cheval who has the advantage. Anmart towards the outside. Staying on as well is Map of Stars. Anmart is asked to go and win the race. See the Fire on the inside. Ombudsman late on the scene. Anmart has the lead. Ombudsman running him down on the outside for Godolphin. And it's Ombudsman for William Buick, who moves past the leader, stretches his neck out and wins the Prince of Waleses. William Buick in the saddle. Anmart 2nd. See the Fire was 3rd. In 4th was Map of Stars. Los Angeles flat on the day. Factor Cheval and Royal Champion along with Continuous all faded out of contention. Been a frustrating few days for William Buick, and a winner for Godolphin. This one for John and Daly Gosden as they continue what's been a great week for them. Anmart came to win the race, found one too good. See the Fire supplemented, will get our money back in 3rd. Map of Stars never really there. Los Angeles flat on the day. Anmart comprehensively reversing the form there. Then Factor Cheval. I think the frustration of yesterday was released there by William Buick. Loved the way Ombudsman stretched out towards the line. Doesn't no problem with the ground there. Really stuck his neck down, found the line strongly. And Godolphin have another potential star on their sleeves here with John and Daly Gosden on the mark again. Ombudsman and William Buick off the mark.
And it's not often you see Will Buick celebrate like that, punching the air as he passed the line. For Godolphin and the Gosdens again, they are having some week. Right, here we go, Meg. It's set up beautifully. Los Angeles the target, but here comes the French horse and then 2 more wide.
Yeah, well, beautifully, although William Buick didn't get the gaps he necessarily wanted to start with. He's had to stop, change, and really be patient for a while. He's gone towards the middle of the track and past Anmart, who took him into the final furlong. But look at that burst of speed.
I feel like you can upgrade the performance here, can't you? I wasn't really watching him particularly closely in the run, but looking at that replay, goodness me, he was climbing all over the heels of the ones in front of him. Will Buick was like, I just need an out, I need an out.
Now and again we talk about
Oisin Murphy,
so yeah, Oisin down on the inside. See the Fire, who's run a super race, comes through with a bit of a squeak towards the outside. Anmart looked the winner, didn't he? But outpaced late on by the eventual winner. The 1st, 2nd and 3rd, where they were positioned, have finished last, 2nd last and 3rd last. Talker, but they were trying to drag him into deep water, Ed, but they've ended up drowning themselves on the front end.
Watch Will here. He knows he's got it. Jim Crowley doing nothing wrong on the 2nd Anmart. And the man who won both guineas. Yes, look at that. Godolphin on the board. The Gosdens win this after their double yesterday. They win the Prince of Wales's for a 6th time. John's won it with Mutaram twice, the Fugue, Lord North and Mostadaf more recently. And now they're celebrating again. Tusif Sheikh, I think that is, who's celebrating on the left. And look at that, photographs. Number 1, Will Buick, Meg.
Yeah, that's a shot for the wall, isn't it? I think it's one of those, isn't it, Jason? Like any jockey, big job, retained rider for Godolphin. A couple of big bullets have been fired and not quite landed just yet. So to get the first one on the board is so important.
Yeah,
Means a lot.
and of course, you know, just managing to weave his way through, keeping that bit up in his mouth before committing, Matt.
When you ride at the very, very high level that William Buick is at, anything but victory will feel like a disaster, William. It's been a tough almost first 2 days, but here you are winning one of the biggest races of the meeting on a real improver.
Yeah, look, this place Thames Lions, Royal Ascot. This place Thames Lions, and it's so special to win there. Because it's so tough. Everyone comes here in great form, and everyone, you know, is doing their very best, of course. So what can I say, Ombudsman? He was stepping up in grade today, and you know, I rode him at home and he was real well, and look, he'd have been a very unlucky loser, wouldn't he? I was looking for room and had to switch him a couple of times, and he's won with a bit in hand. So, you know, I was very impressed with what he did there, and you know, he picked up instantly from me having to switch his course, you know.
He's such a lightly raced horse, William. Night of Thunder offspring. We're still learning about him. Do you feel, as William acknowledges the crowd, they're liking this? William's liking it as well. Hi. What do you think ultimately is going to be his best distance? Is this it? Could he go, you know, is he going to become an ARC horse, Champion Stakes horse? What kind of horse is he?
Well, I think for the moment he's a fast mile and a quarter horse. You know, that was a very strong run mile and a quarter. They went hard. He's got a great turn of foot. I'm sure I'm sure stepping him up in 2 mile and a half will be spoken about, but I wouldn't have thought that discussion would be had just yet.
John Gosden's going to have a problem, isn't he? He's going to have to run him against Field of Gold in the Jumpmont International.
If that has to happen, then I suppose it's a nice problem to have.
And William, can I just ask you, like, you're always really polite, really amiable, but as a rider, when you were talking about it's been a difficult 2 days. How are you in those kind of situations? Are you a jockey who gets down in the weighing room, or can you just move on to the next race straight away?
I've got a little bit of experience now, so I try to just stay level and do my best at just focusing on the next race and the next ride the next day. And look, I've got a lot of good rides. I get a lot of support, so I've always got plenty to look forward to. So you just always got to look forward, right?
I think you're going to enjoy this moment. Well done.
Distinguished guests, ladies.
There's so much to pick out of that race. Ruby's analysis is going to be fascinating. When Will had to switch a couple of times, he said, and you look how fast they went early. They went far too quick. Los Angeles and continuous, well over 40 miles an hour early. Ombudsman never had to do anything like that. The pace collapse, and Anmart and the winner, Ombudsman, picks him off, and Ed Walker's team will be delighted. They've got the winner of the Brigadier Gerard at home, who beat Ombudsman that day, Al McCann, who probably wants a bit softer ground. Didn't get it here, will get it elsewhere. My word, there are some clashes to look forward to. If that man on the left with his dad lets Field of Gold take on Ombudsman in the Juddmonte at York, William Darby would be licking his lips. It would be incredible. Anthony Stroud there on the other side of Thady. There's John. Really good performance that. And Martin second did nothing wrong.
He didn't. He did nothing wrong at all. I think Jim will have felt he's gone there to win his race, and then Ombudsman has passed him with a lethal turn of foot in that final furlong. But it was a strange race. I'm looking forward to seeing what Ruby says about the fraction set up in front, because they've gone nearly too hard, I think, and it has really played in the favour of those that were held up.
Not often. We talk about Ballydol tactics so often. Not often they get it wrong. Did they go too quick, Ruby?
Absolutely went too quick, Ed, but they went quick to try and suck everybody else into a battle, but the others just let them off. The jump from the gate watch continuous on the outside, and Los Angeles in the inside. Ryan and Wayne Wayne Lorden, both ride forward really hard, and they broke 41 miles an hour through the second furlong, but it's a mile and a quarter race, and that is really trapping. But the idea was to suck these riders further forward, but they didn't. Oisin Murphy, Jim Crowley, William Buick and James Doyle just let them at it in front, so they weren't really partaking in that pace. Now when it rounded off the bend, Ryan does go to the front, but he drifts out to Clifford Lee to get competitive, to keep it competitive, and that leaves a great run for Oisin Murphy down his inside. Jim Crowley has William Buick locked up, and William has to wait then until Jim commits, and Jim, to be fair, waits till he gets down almost to the furlong pole before he goes to join Factor Cheval, and then that allows William Buick to get out, and this horse throws a huge turn of foot then. James MacDonald hit his top speed in the last furlong in our previous race, and again here, if you can run quick in the last furlong, you have a huge chance of running horses down, and that's exactly what Ombudsman did.
And Ruby, it's always an advantage here at Ascot, especially when they've gone that quick, to be last to challenge. And 41 miles an hour for Aiden's two runners in the second furlong. They just were going to empty, weren't they?
They were, and I mean, it's a fine line. It's only 1 mile an hour, but if you're back at 40 miles an hour, the chances are the riders behind sit a bit closer to you as well. But when you go too quick, the guys behind, and it's much, and I can imagine being in that situation. James Doyle looks at William Buick, they look at Jim Crowley and Oisin Murphy, and they're all sat back off it, so it gives you the confidence to believe that you might actually be in the right place, and that's what the four of them did. They just sat off a pace that was always going to falter.
Well, John Gosden just watching this very impressive Ombudsman leave the winner's enclosure. John, let's just get your reaction to that performance and watching the travails of William Buick in the home straight.
Yeah, we know when you're drawn one, and you saw what happened to Ryan yesterday in the staying race, you sometimes, but with not that many runners, a split will come. And the plan was to just relax off the pace, which was strong, set up for Los Angeles, use the real long striding staying horse, and to that extent we knew we'd be comfortable where we were. We had a lovely French horse and James Doyle outside us. It's just a question, we get the straight whether you get the luck, and he wasn't in a position where he could swing round the field. It was more an occasion of waiting for the gaps, and he was very patient, and he thought, but I knew when he got a gap at the furlong pole, this horse has an extraordinary turn of foot. So he was patient and he was rewarded, but there's nothing like when you've got those fractions to run at, it gives you a chance to just run them down in the end.
You always look so calm and collected, John, but this is a horse, 4-year-old, who is now having his 6th start. He's won the Prince of Wales Stakes. He's only been beaten once on his comeback run. He's giving weight away to a very smart horse. A lot of people are very excited about this horse. Are you going to keep our feet on the ground? Are you going to let us dream?
No, I think it's all down to the owner, because when we bought him, Anthony Stroud, I said, look, he's an immature horse, give me a chance with him, and he said, take as long as you like. And we obviously took his 2-year-old year in race, but as a 3-year-old we brought him out. He won his maiden very well at Leicester, and then he went, and Ryan won a listed race with him in Deauville, and then we went to Group 3 and put him away, because he's a horse now, he's fully grown and developed, proper 4-year-old. And because, Sheikh Mohammed's been very patient with him, we get rewarded. So when you're a trainer, it's very nice to train for people who aren't putting the pressure on you.
What sort of horse is he now? Is he a 1.25 miles pure and pure? Could he get a 1.5 miles?
He's a 1.25 miles. I mean, William said he's got a lot of speed. I said, don't tell me I've got to bring him back to 6 furlongs. But he's got a wonderful turn of foot, as you saw, and I think play to that strength. And as far as I'm concerned, he's done nothing but grow in stature. Gary rides him at home all the time and has done a lovely job with him, and he said he's absolutely spot on, and he's riding him every day. He knows, he feels. I must say, when the horse was being saddled, going around playing and looking full of it, so I think we did have him absolutely au point.
So will it be Eclipse, Juddmonte International, that sort of campaign? I mean, this is a Breeders' Cup winning you're in.
Just won the Prince of Wales at ASCOT. We have to talk about the future. Look, he is a horse that, because he hasn't over-raced this year, he could be a horse you could look at the Eclipse with, yes.
One last thing. Would you ever run him against Field of Gold?
That wouldn't be my choice.
John, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ombudsman the winner from Anmart See the Fire. I love that line from John Gosden. That wouldn't be my choice. Well, no. I imagine it wouldn't. I think we all hope it's not, because we'd love to see them line up together. The Juddmonte International could be a cracker if this is where that horse heads. He was good today. William Buer going up to collect his trophy. Hasn't been the finest week in those colours for he and Charlie Appleby so far. Cinderella's Dream, of course, ran well, but it wasn't to be for her. They bumped into another inmate, Jonathan Gosdens. They can't half get it right for this week. Goodness me, 4 already, and the 2 feature races have gone back to Clare Haven. And there is Will Buer receiving his award from the Prince of Wales. We are saying goodbye to Jane. That's a sad half a day, Jane again, and she's off.
I'll be back forward tomorrow. Prince of Wales.
Yeah.
His carriage has a spot in it.
The carriage waits. Yes, quite right too. But thank you, Jane. Invaluable insight again.
Back
Safe
for the
trip
Gold
back.
Cup.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Jane
Are we going to
will be
match tomorrow?
with us tomorrow.
What are we wearing tomorrow?
Let's collaborate. We'll talk later.
Okay.
You can do it. I'll do it now if you want. No, probably not. Jane, thank you. Michelle is sticking around for a fair bit. That was day 2. Ali Vance has rejoined us. Michelle, you and I still in position. Well, what a day. Hope you've enjoyed it out and about out there. Ali, what was your highlight from today?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Nice to see Eve win that race, and lovely to see Paddy Toomey win the earlier race. I mean, it's a day where we've had winners from Wathnan, from Godolphin, from big Bahrain owners. So to see some of the smaller trainers also get their share in the winners' circle there is always nice and emotional as well.
Yeah, that was Karma's in the Queen's Vase, who stayed on really strongly. Yourself, Michelle?
Oh, Crimson Advocate for me. I just thought the performance that we saw there was fantastic with this horse coming out and to be a really special miler.
Yeah, they weren't the obvious ones. They were unexposed. The likes of Crimson Advocate and Ombudsman as well in the Prince of Wales Stakes could be a really exciting top-level 10-furlong horse going forward. This is what tomorrow looks like. We kick off with the Norfolk. We've got the King George V handicap, the Ribblesdale mile and a half for the fillies. We've got the Gold Cup, the Group 1. The feature race on the day, the crown jewel of the whole week. Britannia Stakes for the 3-year-olds over a mile. Hampton Court, race number 6, and the Buckingham Palace Stakes, race number 7, closes off the cards. Really looking forward to tomorrow's action. We know one thing. We know that this sun is going to be blazing down again, Ali.
It's only going to get hotter.
Yeah, but it's been great. It's what we want for the Royal
I love
Meeting.
it. I'm sure that you're probably pretty hot underneath that top hat and tails, but
I'm wearing a brim tomorrow.
It's wonderful, isn't it, Michelle?
That's what you're going for,
Yes,
right? You're
I'm
going for a
going
wider
with
brim hat. Great stuff. Ali, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you again tomorrow. Michelle, we'll be back again to do it all. I know how you're arriving at the track tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing that very much. You lucky thing, you. That was it for day number 2. Tomorrow is all about the oldest and most prestigious race at the Royal Meeting, the Gold Cup. See you then.